He cleaned their hallways, he fixed their toilets, but one night, he uncovered their darkest secret. As the janitor of Ravenwood Academy, a school where privilege walked on marble floors and secrets echoed off polished walls, James kept his head down. His job wasn't glamorous, but it paid enough to keep the lights on, and more importantly, to keep his daughter Lily enrolled. Ravenwood had granted her a full scholarship based on her academic brilliance. In James's eyes, she was destined for something bigger, and he'd scrub every toilet in the school if that's what it took to get her there. It wasn't just a school to him. It was hope, but one night, that hope started to rot. Tuesday night, 11:17 p.m., James was still on campus, fixing a burst pipe in the locker room. The school's ancient plumbing had a nasty habit of exploding when no one was watching. As he adjusted the wrench beneath a flickering light, he heard something. Voices. Muffled. Panicked. He paused, stood up, and followed the sound down the hallway. It was coming from an old air vent near the gym. Two voices, teenagers, boys. You shouldn't have pushed her. What if she dies? She won't. Just keep your mouth shut. We said no phones. James stopped breathing. A chill settled into his spine. The vent carried the voices with perfect clarity. There was no doubt. Something had happened. Something bad. The sound of hurried footsteps faded into silence. Wednesday morning, the school buzzed with whispers. James overheard the office secretary saying that a student, Ariana Bell, had been taken to the hospital. A slip and fall, they said. She was found alone in the locker room, bruised and bleeding. Unconscious. James knew better. He'd seen Ariana before. Quiet, sweet. Another scholarship kid. In the way she looked at the world, like it was all still beautiful, even if it wasn't made for her. James tried to convince himself it was none of his business. He almost succeeded. Until that night. He was helping Lily pack up her old textbooks when he knocked over her backpack. A phone tumbled out. Not her regular phone. This one was older, beat up, and had no passcode. Curious, he turned it on. One file, a video. He hesitated, then tapped play. The image was grainy, shaky. Someone had filmed in secret. Ariana Bell. Locked inside the girls' locker room, crying. Blood smeared on her cheek. She whispered something to the camera. Then, two shadows moved into frame. One of them stepped into the light. Noah Whitmore. James recognized him instantly. Son of Judge Samuel Whitmore, a man who practically owned the town. Noah was smirking. Behind him, another boy, masked, laughing. The video ended. James's blood went cold. What was Lily doing with this? Did she film it? Was she there? He rushed to her room to confront her, but she wasn't there. Her bed was empty, her window open, and on her desk, a note. Dad, I'm sorry. I had to do something. Don't trust anyone. Whatever you find, protect it. It's bigger than both of us. I love you, Lily. James collapsed into her desk chair. Fear clamped down on his chest. He replayed the video, watching Noah's smug expression again and again. He looked up. The academy, the secrets, the scholarships. Everything was rotten. His little girl was out there alone, tangled in something dangerous, and the people who ran Ravenwood had the money and power to bury it all. But now he had proof, and a choice. He could turn it in, risk everything, risk Lily, or stay silent and pray it all went away. Then he noticed something. A second file, hidden in a folder marked math homework. It wasn't a video, it was a voice memo. He tapped play. If anything happens to me, it's not just Noah, it's bigger. Look into Whitmore's donations. Start with Project Icarus. And Dad, whatever you do, don't go to the police. They're in on it. James stared at the phone. What the hell was Project Icarus? His hands trembled. Outside, a car slowed in front of his house. Headlights off, watching. Then it sped away. He rushed to lock the door. The war had started, and Lily wasn't just missing. She was fighting a battle James didn't understand yet. The next day, the whispers grew louder. James overheard the office secretary again, this time about a missing student from last year, Caitlin Price. She'd vanished during spring break. The rumor was she was last seen near the old boathouse on campus. That afternoon, James found an anonymous note slipped into his locker. Snitches bleed. His blood ran cold. That night, his janitor's closet was ransacked, his cart overturned, cleaning supplies smashed, and taped to the wall, a photo of Lily, crossed out with red ink. That was the breaking point. James went to the only person he thought he could trust, Detective Nora Ellis. He met her in the parking lot behind the precinct. "Why anonymous, James?" she asked. "Because I was scared," James admitted. "Because I've got one thing in this world that matters. My daughter." She nodded, sympathetic but firm. "We pulled up a report from 8 months ago. Missing student, Caitlin Price, disappeared during spring break. Friends said she was last seen near the Ravenwood boathouse." James's jaw tightened. "She's the it they buried." Nora hesitated. "We found fragments of clothing, burned, buried deep. Forensics are working it." But the twist came the next morning. Noah and his masked friend, released. No charges, no mugshots, no press. Ravenwood had done what it did best, protect its legacy. The boys returned to school like nothing happened. James couldn't believe it. Even worse, Noah passed him in the hallway and gave a casual, chilling smile. "I told you, janitor, you clean floors. That's all you're good for." James clenched his fists. This time, he wasn't staying silent. He had one card left to play. Years ago, during a storm that flooded the old gym, James had installed secret security cams, cheap ones, for his own protection, after tools had gone missing, and he'd been blamed. Forgotten, dusty, but still online. He checked the feed history and found it. A week before Caitlin's disappearance. A video. Noah and his masked friend in the East Wing. Caitlin was there too, nervous, looking cornered. James's heart pounded. In the footage, Caitlin tried to walk away. The masked boy grabbed her arm. She screamed. The footage didn't show what happened next, but it showed enough. James stared at the screen, jaw trembling. This was no prank. This wasn't boys being boys. This was a crime. He handed the footage to Detective Ellis, and within hours, everything changed. Noah's father, a judge, tried to suppress it. So did the masked boy's family, powerful donors to the academy. But social media wasn't so kind. The footage leaked, it exploded. Justice for Caitlin started trending. News vans camped outside Ravenwood. Protesters lined the gates. Parents demanded answers. Donors pulled funding. And Noah? This time he didn't walk free. By morning, both boys were arrested. But just as James thought it was over, there was another twist. Detective Ellis called him. "You should come down here," she said. "We got a match on the DNA from the site." James drove to the station, heart pounding. Ellis met him at the door. "Caitlin Price," she began, handing him a document, "was never the only victim." James stared at the paper in shock. Another set of remains were found, buried deeper. The first girl went missing 2 years ago, Jessica Cole. James's knees buckled. 2 victims, 2 cover-ups, and then came the final blow. "We found a third set of prints at the scene," Ellis said quietly. "Not Noah's, not the masked boys." James looked up. Ellis's eyes were grim. "It's someone else from Ravenwood, someone who helped cover it up." She handed him the fingerprint report. James scanned the name and froze. It wasn't a student. It was someone higher, much higher. James looked up at Ellis, stunned. "Dean Mallory?" Ellis nodded. "She helped hide the evidence, the cameras, the tip, everything. She's been protecting them from the start." James couldn't believe it. The woman who lectured him on loyalty was part of the corruption all along. Suddenly the pieces fit. That's why Noah had smiled so smugly. That's why his anonymous tip nearly vanished. Dean Mallory hadn't been looking for the truth. She was bearing it. James looked out the window of the precinct. The sun was rising over Ravenwood Academy, but nothing would ever look the same again. And then Ellis said something that sent a chill down his spine. "We think there's a fourth victim, someone else who got too close and disappeared." James turned sharply. "Who?" Ellis handed him a photo. It was grainy, faded, but he recognized the face instantly. It was the former janitor, the man who had the job before James. He'd vanished a year before James was hired. No explanation, no goodbye. Ellis looked at him solemnly. "James, they don't just silence victims. They silence anyone who knows too much." James's breath caught. He turned to the photo again and saw something he hadn't noticed before. In the corner of the image, the janitor was holding a small box, a hidden camera. Ellis leaned in. "We need to find that box." James stared at the photo, his heart racing, because that janitor was last seen in the same room James cleaned every night, the boiler room, and inside it may lie the final truth. James uncovered the hidden box. Inside, a USB drive. It held recordings from the previous janitor, exposing Dean Mallory's deep web of corruption, missing students, silenced staff, and threats to anyone who spoke up. The evidence was undeniable. Mallory was arrested. Ravenwood fell. Justice at last was served. James declined a promotion and launched a foundation in Caitlin and Jessica's names. Lily transferred to a safer school. As James watched his daughter walk into class, he knew the truth, once whispered behind marble walls, had finally shattered them.